Yeah. Turn it up, man. Rock the shit. Oh, yeah. Hey, Malik picked out the music this time, man. Let's do it. Malik knows me now. All right, bring it down. Bring it down. Thank you, Malik. You finally know me. You know what I like, bro. I like rock and roll, bro. And you did it. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. You know, I felt the energy low from you today, but you rocked it, so I guess I was wrong. You rocked, so thank you so much. Welcome to Tales from a Gemini. It's BT, and I don't know why, man. I'm in like in a kind of mood. You know why? Because I was running a little bit late today. I'm gonna shoot another like a commercial, whatever. So I had to go do a fitting, just right down the street, actually, about 3 blocks down the street. Okay, so anyway, I had to go all the way down there and did that, and then I had to go back home and I got a little workout in. But for some reason, I was just shitty. I hate it when you're running a little bit late and there's traffic, but nobody wants to go fast. I mean, like not fast. You don't have to go as fast as me, but it should pain you as an individual, as a person, when you get beaten off the line by a semi. If you're in a car and a semi or a city bus beats you off the light, shouldn't it hit you as pride as a person? I mean, honestly, doesn't it?
You gotta feel that a little bit.
Dude, I mean, honestly, like, if a semi's pulling another semi and it beats you off the light and you're not passing it, there's nothing that pisses me off more than that. I have to work on my yoga breathing when I come down here because everybody gets in my way. And if there's a Honda Odyssey, it's done. Honda Odysseys will always hold you up, always.
Right.
A Honda Odyssey is the worst, man. When you see that, you know it's going to be a long day. You
know exactly what.
Get your yoga breathing in. Namaste. You got to relax. So anyway, so hopefully I get into a better mood. Today's guest, it's gonna be awesome. I met this guy. He actually has little ties here in Indiana. He is the only African American. I don't know if he's African American because I think he's English. The only black member in the MotoGP paddock, and he kneeled, and he's the only one kneeling. He's also the only one kneeling in the paddock. And man, it sounds like nothing. But it means to me, it's everything, though. I mean, you told me just hit the glide.
I heard it.
You heard me. I just hit like, uh-oh. I done like 5 minutes, like, uh-oh. So, but yeah, he's the only one. I tried to be slick. About that. Hit like, oh, why I didn't see.
I've never noticed something so much.
Yeah, there goes me trying to be slick. But yeah, so anyway.
I'd rather you just tell him and be honest.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't like I was trying to hide it from you. It wasn't like I had money and hide it. By the way, thanks for picking up the money for the Starbucks. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for laying that.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Anyway, so
no
yeah.
problem. So
he's the only black guy and member of the MotoGP paddock, and he's also the only person who kneeled. And so I want to ask him about that. I think it's going to be interesting, man, because I've been to the paddock. And it's just going to be interesting to me. I always want to talk to somebody who actually kneeled. I mean, that's a big, big thing to do. And so, anyway, I'm waiting on him. His name is Francis Bradfield. Going to wait on him. And in the meantime, oh, there he is. I told you, that's still my favorite thing in the whole world when that happens, man. When I see that, it's like, yes, it's working. It's working. Here we go. He's going to click on. He's clicking the link. Come on, Francis. And then Francis comes on, and then you can go get me my vanilla chai latte.
I got you.
Francis, what's up, buddy? Can you hear me?
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Hey. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, buddy?
Really good, thanks, dude.
Good. I had a nice little intro about you. I told him about how you're the only black guy in the MotoGP paddock, the only guy that kneeled, and also, I forgot how devastatingly handsome you are. That's why I hated you when I first saw you. When I was in the paddock, I go, oh man, I hate that. I was the only black guy there. I was like, yeah. Then I saw you, and I was like, oh man, this guy, I know he gets all the ladies because you got that smooth, debonair look, you got the afro look that chicks love, and you got that dashing smile. You're like a supermodel. And at first, I was like, I hate this guy, and then you were so nice. And I was like, I can't hate this guy. And then we became friends. And here's how cool of a guy you are. You said, hey, let's keep in touch. And I'll come through Indiana sometime. We'll go out to eat. And I go, yeah. And I did. And I'll be damned one day. You go, hey, I'm coming through Indiana. And you came through. And you had the company card on you. And we ate on the company dime. And we ate well that day. We ate matter of fact, I got a dessert. I got things I wouldn't even eat. All because I knew I wasn't paying for it. It was one of the greatest nights ever. So how you doing, buddy? Where are you right now? Where are you at right now?
I'm in the paddock at the Austrian GP.
Well, I know. Oh, okay. So you're actually at the paddock right now.
Yeah. Oh. I'm in the technical track.
Okay. Now you changed. You've been with Alpine Stars, and now you're with. Who you with now?
Suomi and KYT helmets.
That's right. Nice helmets, by the way. I love those helmets.
Yeah, they're good. The aero's good as well.
They're great. Yeah, and I was thinking, since you probably if there's an extra helmet lying around, you could just mail it to the United States. I think that'd be great.
Could do.
Yeah.
Could be an option.
Just joking, man. So let's go for a little bit about your background, man. When I met you there, I knew you were like you liked motorsports, and from what I can remember, because usually on these I have a lot of the Wikipedia and everything. I can do a little cheating, but for you, I had nothing. So I was like, oh my God, I really got to go from grassroots. Try to remember our conversations. I remember we had great conversation when we ate, and I remember we talked a little bit at the GP. I think I met you either in Jerez or was it Assen? Do you remember?
Definitely Assen, I think.
Yeah, I think it was Assen we met. And I was like, oh my God, another brother. And we talked, and you were so cool. And like I said, we kept in touch, and it was great. Because now, what's your connection to motorsports? Like, how did you get involved in motorsports?
I just grew up loving cars, and eventually found a motorsport engineering degree, studied it, and then one day found the Alpine Stars job, and that was my way in.
Now, what was your connection to Indiana? Because I mentioned I lived in Indianapolis, and for some reason, I think you spent time here because you showed me you drove a hoopty, and you showed me a picture of it that you drove here, and I was like, oh my God, it was kind of car you get pulled over for and you go to jail for. It was like a little hoopty, and you rode it and you drove it, and I was like, what the hell? And you have ties here, so how did that happen?
So after I studied motorsport engineering, me and my best mate found a business and logistics internship, which was sponsored by a trucking company. So they flew us out, educated us, and while we were there, we were driving team truck 24/7 for 2 years.
Yeah, I remember that because I was like, how did you Indianapolis? So, and you actually lived here, right?
Yeah, we were based out of Indy.
Where in Indy did you, what part of town?
We were in our truck.
You lived out of the truck?
We didn't actually have a house, yeah.
Are you serious?
Seriously.
You lived out of a truck?
Yeah.
So, what kind of truck was it? Was it like a semi or?
Yeah, full semi, 18-wheeler.
Are you serious?
Seriously, dude. Yeah, me and my best mate, 2 years.
So
living out in the truck.
2 years in a truck. 2 years. So how'd you guys take How'd you guys take showers and all that and take care of business?
Every so often we'd stop at an operating center from the company. They had them everywhere, and we'd just jump out the truck, go for they had shower cubicles and rooms where you could just chill out and stuff on your own privately. So yeah.
Really? Man, that's
yeah.
Did you like it? Did you enjoy that?
It was wicked. We drove everywhere. We did 40 states in the first month. So we saw everything. It was kind of like a massive road trip just in an 18-wheeler.
Wow. That's the way but you were young though. How were you? 19, 18, 20?
21.
Oh, that's it. You were legal to drink in the States, so you're traveling around the world. You got a big rig. You're young. You're light skinned. So chicks who don't really like dark skinned black guys like me, they like you. So you were living the life, bruh. Like, hey, you want to see my big rig? And you're like, yeah. And you take a chick out to the rig. Boom. That's how you do it, right?
Maybe a couple of times.
Maybe a couple of times. Well. I don't want to get you in trouble because I think I know your girlfriend. I don't want to get you in trouble, but what would be your opening line? Would you stop at bars and be like, "Hey, listen, me and my butt," and they hear that accent. Once women hear that accent, especially on a black dude, they hear the accent here, they go, "Oh my God, where are you from?" And you're like, "I'm from England."
Yeah.
And they go, "Oh my God, that is so hot." And then next thing you know, bam, 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 right? And then you're like, "I gotta go," and you blow the horn when you leave.
Pretty much.
Man, okay.
The accent worked a lot.
I bet it did. Okay. So now, okay, we're working Alpine Stars. Okay, so now let's get to the meat of the issue. Because honestly, I thought about this when I was on my motorcycle. I was thinking, who am I gonna get for a guest? I like to have interesting, because at the very end of the interview, it's always about something positive, and that's why when I interview somebody, it's always that positive thing that rings through. And I just remember, honestly, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, but I just remember when all the protests started happening here and things were going crazy here in the States. And then so what Lewis Hamilton was doing it for F1, I thought was great. And then I was scrolling through my Instagram feed and I saw you kneeling, and man, that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was like, Oh my God, good for you. I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. Like, walk me through that.
Thanks,
What
man.
what really motivated you to do that? Uh, were you ever politically like savvy? Were you politically active, or I mean, did you ever do any marches before that, or was this something that really hit you in the heart and said, "I got to do something"?
So, I mean, I recently moved from Italy back to the UK,
Hmm.
and it was just kind of as this big movement started. Um, and I was talking to my friends and doing a lot of reading, and one of the first marches in Parliament Square in London happened, and I was like, I'm going, got to go straight there and show some support. And then kind of just like had my own personal dealings with discrimination, and then rocked up at MotoGP, and obviously a lot of sports are showing some support because they've got a massive platform, so that they can push the message and help out. And just I just felt like MotoGP could have jumped on this. They're a really diverse place, and they can show off their diversity. So I thought, why are they not doing anything? And I was like, do you know what? If nobody does anything, I've got to, because the support needs to be shown, the issues need to be raised.
Okay, so now you said you dealt with some discriminate. Like, what kind of discrimination were you dealing with during that time? Like, I mean, with the classic, well, just tell me what kind of discrimination. Because we all go through something where you go, I'm gonna let that slide because you know something bigger is coming down the road, or you know what I mean? Like, what what were you
Yeah,
dealing with? What were you dealing with?
just growing up, really. I had a lot of issues with the police, driving, just assuming that I'd stolen cars or up to no good all the time, and I
And
was just minding my own business. Got pulled over, dealt with aggressive police a fair few times. Um, just being just massive harassment from them, really.
in England or here in the states?
No, in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's everywhere. Then I mean, honestly, and I'm just saying,
It's absolutely everywhere.
well, I'm just saying from from my perspective, I only started traveling, internationally about in the last 10 years. So, and maybe that's the ignorance of me being from the United States, just thinking it just happens here. So did that movement hit you like, yes, it's everywhere, and we got to
Yeah.
do something because you experienced it?
My last big experience was just before the Qatar GP. I was at my home in Italy, and there's a person that used to live behind me who always was kind of aggressive towards me and the dogs that I had. And he always wanted to say he was going to kill them and this and that. And then one day I asked him to stop saying it, and he called me the N word, and just kind of really hit me quite hard, obviously. And so just dealing with all of the discrimination over so many years, now that the movement's hit, it's really time to make a change. This can't go on
Wow.
forever.
Now, now was the guy Italian who did it? Who
Yeah,
said it?
yeah, old Italian guy.
Oh, okay. Now, I've been to Italy, and I think I had a similar situation. But I'm not trying to, single out Italy at all. But I'm just saying, of the times that something may have happened, it's always been in Italy, and it's like I kind of felt that there a little bit. Like I spent my 50th there, and this guy said something to me, but I don't know what it was, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was getting to be. I'm pretty sure that's what it was about, and I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I was also playing stupid. I go, I don't understand you. And I was basically, I was trying to get him to get closer to me so I could be like, what did you say? I kind of wanted to grab him. But I was like, what'd you say? And I was kind of doing this. And luckily, the girl that was with me goes, she told him to leave. And I think he said something, but I didn't know. So I was just trying to think. But maybe it's just Italy, but maybe it's just everywhere. I mean, I think maybe
It's everywhere.
yeah.
I mean, Italy's got its issues because they've had a lot of immigrants, and these immigrants are struggling to find work, so they're just hanging around everywhere. And so there's a lot of hate towards black people in that sense, because they all come across from Africa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So basically, Italy's Mexicans are black. Basically, I mean, for like Americans, yeah, no, seriously, Italy's Mexicans are black. Is basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah, America tried to blame everything on the Mexicans, so that's what Italy does. They blame it on the black, and they're just looking for work, looking for a better way of life. And so when everything starts going downhill, the best place to point the finger is, the immigrant.
Yeah.
Correctly?
I mean, people, when I was out there, and it happens other places too, people stare at me like I'm this alien.
And how does that make? I mean, how does it make you feel though? Like, do you speak and try to show them that, hey, I'm educated, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, you understand? I mean, do you ever try to reason with them? That's what I'm trying to say.
No, I mean, I never really spoke to anybody that kind of looked at me funny. It was always from afar, but you just carry on.
You feel
Really,
it?
you just got to carry on.
Yeah, as we say, as we say here, just keep it moving. I mean, it's like you just
Exactly.
okay, you just gotta go about your business. But sometimes, man, that pressure. Sometimes it just gets you to the point you want to scream. And only I don't know if it goes anywhere else, but being that you're African American, or how would I call you? I mean, honestly, because you're English, so you're not really African American. So what would I call you?
I'm half English and half Nigerian, so.
Oh my gosh. So you're very, very smart. I mean, you're Nigerian, so that means you're incredibly smart, and you're English. That means you're like smart on top of smart. And honestly, so okay, so who? I guess I don't want to stereotype, but obviously your father was Nigerian, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And your mother was probably English, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh my God, they must have you." And she was like, "I don't think my father would. I don't think my father would like that." and he started playing the Beatles, and she was like, "Uh-oh, he loves you, yeah." And bam, next thing you know. so let me say, how did they meet? How did those two meet? How did they meet?
They actually met in the gym, I think.
Of course, she saw those
my
big
mum was
Nigerian
like-
muscles, and that was it.
Yeah, I guess. And he rode a bike.
Oh, motorcycle or bicycle?
Yeah, motorcycle.
Oh, come on, man. He rides a motorcycle and he works out. He's Nigerian. Come on now. They put two and two together, and your mom was like, "I can't resist him. Look at him. He's so beautiful.
Pretty much.
Hey, he's beautiful. We have a beautiful son. He's beautiful." And next thing you know, here you come. Are they still together?
No, they separated. They actually separated before I was born.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
you weren't the cause. You weren't the cause. What was it?
No,
Society?
just didn't work.
Oh man.
He now lives in Japan with his Japanese wife and 4 mixed Japanese kids. So I've
Ooh,
got 4
your
brothers.
daddy's getting around. Your dad's making sure the black seed gets around. Good for him. Good for him. Nigeria is going to populate the world via your dad. Good for you. So do you and your dad have a good relationship?
Yeah, we got a good relationship.
Oh.
He loves motorcycle racing, so when I told him I got involved in MotoGP and Superbike, he was like, "No way!" And I brought him out to the Motegi GP last year, which was cool.
I was going to ask that. So yeah, when you go to Japan, do you say, "Hey, Dad, come on down, and if you get a chance, bring one of your Japanese girlfriends, and we'll have a good time." So that's what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Okay, so let's move to the paddock, man. You're in the paddock, and you see the movement going on. And what made you go? Because a lot of people say they're going to do stuff, oh, man, I got to do this. I got to be more active, and they don't. What made you go, okay, you know what? I've got to do something. What was the turning point, the final turning point that made you go, I'm doing something? Instead of saying it, you did it.
I think it was just as the weekend built up, the realization of there nothing being said. They did the Blackout Tuesday post on Instagram, or MotoGP did, and they mentioned like half a sentence in a press release, and Carmelo answered a couple of questions to the media, but small level, and I just sat there thinking, why is nothing being said? Why is this not a big deal here? I know there's the whole COVID issue and they're showing support for that, but you can show support for both. It doesn't just have to be for one, So as it went on, I just built up this kind of shock that just pushed me to go and do it.
Oh, now when it actually was done, I mean, because all the races are going to be in Europe. So, and I've been there before, and honestly, I can't remember if they played a national anthem before. So, like, when do you exactly do kneel? I mean, is it before the race or before because they do it a little different over in Europe. Here, it's easy because national anthem's coming, boom, I can kneel. So, but how do you do it over there?
So sometimes they do the national anthem, sometimes not. In Jerez, the first time I did it, I did it after the minute silence for COVID.
After or during?
After.
Oh, now when you did it, how did you? Were you nervous? Were you like nervous of what was going to happen to you afterwards, or were you like, okay, I got to do this, and whatever happens after this, I'll be damned, but I'm going to show support. Walk me through that. Were you how were you feeling inside? What was your feelings?
I was really nervous. I was wondering what people would say, kind of if there was going to be any judgment. I didn't think I could get pulled up on an issue because they let everyone show their beliefs. There's no issues with that. but I was worried mainly about judgment and what people would say to me, and I got a fair amount of judgment actually. Um,
It's funny you say that. I was going to bring this up, but I was, trying to find a little homework on you. And, I read the article about you kneeling, and this guy wrote, he goes, I didn't know MotoGP has its own attention-seeking nobody. Please stop giving attention to this racist. Which, I had to laugh because, I've heard that before. It's that what do you call it? The reverse racism. When they say that, I go, really? So it's okay for you to be racist, but reverse racism, there's no such thing as reverse racism. So, so how do you take, when you hear something like that, and you hear people saying stuff like that, how does it make, do you just keep it going, or does it hit you a little bit? You act like it doesn't, but it does? How do you feel?
the first few comments hit me, but then I thought, you know what? It's just a load of crap from that side anyway, because they don't know me, they don't know who I am, they don't know what I'm standing up for in reality. And if I was doing this for personal gain, I'd be a really immoral person. Why would I ever do this for my own personal gain? There are so many people suffering still. That would be absolutely disgusting of me.
Now, was Lewis Hamilton, was he a big influence on you doing it? Like when you saw him doing it?
Yeah, 100%.
Have you talked to him? Have you had a handshake? I know he's hard to get. He's like Elvis over there. So, but you never know, though. Honestly, you never know. I know it sounds bad, but man, I could see Lewis in you. You're both, honestly, you both got really good-looking guys. Honestly, you really are. And here's the thing that I was looking on the positive side of everything. At least I try to. And the positive side is, being so few in a sport that's, white dominated, or, the majority white, 99% white, you're going to stand out. And by him being the best at what he does in that particular field, he's going to stand out. So maybe his message is heard more than, say, a LeBron James, or more than some football player, because his it's going to stand out more because he's in a white dominated field and he's kicking ass. And so he's the best at what he does. And they go, oh, if Lewis is talking about it, then it's really going to bring it to light. And and I'm going to play devil's advocate because I love what you're doing. That's why you're here. And that's why I want to talk to you about it. Because honestly, you're like a little bit of a hero, man. Because, I've been there before. And honestly, I put myself in that situation when I was riding on my motorcycle and I was thinking to interview you. I thought to myself, and I'm going to say this honestly, and I mean no disrespect. If you did that, I was thinking, if you did that in Austin, in Texas or whatever, and I saw you kneeling, and I thought, if he looked at me during the anthem with those eyes like, are you going to kneel with me? I'm going to be honest, man, I don't know if I could do that. And I'm being honest. And it's not like I don't support you, but I don't know if I have the balls to do that. And I mean that I think you got to be black or African American to understand that, and no disrespect to anybody else if you're watching. And that's why, to me, man, that is so. And honestly, I can't. I don't know if I could. And I said it to myself. I go, man, if I saw him, and I know you, and I know your heart, and I said, if you looked at me during the anthem, like, are you gonna join me, dude? I don't know if I could. I'm with you, everything, but to say that, I would have to be with you. I don't want you to do it by yourself and be like, fuck, man. And then I don't know. That's the thing about it, because that's a great question. I'm glad you said that. And I asked myself, why couldn't I? Maybe I'm afraid of the backlash. Maybe I'm afraid if I do that, like afterwards, man, would my carte blanche status in the GP, maybe they would be mad and be like, you can't do that, BT, or I'm afraid they would get pushed back from that, and then they go.
I had some worry about that as well. I get that completely.
So it's like maybe I'm just a pussy. Honestly, because man, I'm not, because what you're doing is stronger than people think. It's easy to walk around going, USA, we're the best, when you ain't got to do shit. When all you got to do is get up and go to a job or go home and say, this is the greatest country in the world. How hard is that? The hard part is to stand up for something you believe. The hard part is you're making millions of dollars throwing a football, and all of a sudden you go, you know what? 7 people choking a guy out who says he can't breathe. I'm done with this. I'm gonna, or you shooting a 12-year-old point blank in the chest, not giving him a chance to say it's a toy gun without saying, hey, buddy, I can't take this anymore. I'm gonna take a stand. I'm gonna take a knee in front of literally 40,000 people. I'm gonna take a stand against this, and maybe 3 will be with me. But those 3 who are with me, they might not say anything because they're pussies. So I'm gonna do it by myself. That takes guts. What you do, don't minimize what you're doing, man. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. But I'm looking at myself, and I just feel right now, like now, looking a pussy because I'm with you 100%. But if we were out and we were in Texas, and you took a knee during the time, I'm going, fuck, would I join this dude? Would I? And I'm going, fuck, man. And that's what makes me think, like, maybe I got to change who I am. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I talk a lot of shit like I'm doing now, but push comes to shove, would I? When the time comes, would I do that? And so...
Would you not have the thought at the same time as would I or won't I, of would you not have that thought of, if I don't do it, maybe I feel like I'm letting people down?
Yes.
Because that's one of the biggest things that pushed me. If I don't do it, I'm going to feel like I've let everybody down. That's
beautiful. And I mean, that is fucking beautiful, man. Because I feel trust me, I've let a lot of people down in my whole life, not even politically. I mean, just participating in sports and watching my dad's face go, oh God, is he really my son? I mean, so I let a lot of people down in a lot of different ways. But when it comes to it, man, like, honestly, the one thing that got me more than anything is that Tamir Rice, when you're 12 years old and you had a toy gun, and even the call-in said it's a toy gun, and that cop didn't give that kid a chance, and he shot him, and I think that will stay with me forever. And
that happens far too often.
Yes, it does.
The thing is it's not a one-time thing.
And yeah, and no one. I really personally, I don't think nobody's that stupid. I think they know it's not, but they feel they have to attack you at every aspect you're trying to get over, and they're going to attack you no matter where you go. And you go, no, you never been a cop. It's like, yeah, no, bro, it didn't happen to white kids. And if it did, it should be on TV. I mean, the big case, I don't know if you know about the big case here now is there was a 5-year-old white kid in North Carolina, and they had a neighbor who was African-American, black guy, and for some reason, he came and shot that kid in the head. And like 3 or 4 times, then he ran off. They end up catching him, no bail. And everybody's like, yeah, it should be that way. But now they're going, say his name. And they're doing the same thing like, see, Black Lives Matter, this bullshit. And it's like, no, you don't understand. We don't like that piece of shit. And he should be punished. And that's all we're 100%. Saying. And that's exactly what we're saying, man. Nobody wants to see it. And that hurt my heart to see that, but also hurt my heart when people are trying to use that politically, man. Nobody wants to see shit like that happen, man.
Of course, there are people that deserve to be punished for things that they do. But the point is there are so many people that are getting punished when they don't deserve it.
Yes, innocent people.
Exactly.
And you don't treat people the same. I mean, they can. I've done a couple of ride-alongs with cops, and you don't treat people the same, and that's bullshit. And how they treat us in situations, you go, you know what? If somebody was white, they wouldn't do that to him. But also it's also a power thing also. And I will say this, being a cop is also a power thing. They do abuse their power with women and with people who are poor or who don't have any power. So it's also a power thing, but it also boils down to race at times.
I mean, I've got not as strong a story, but I've been pulled over multiple times by the police, always white people. The last time it was a white person, he accused me of speeding when I had the cruise control set to limit my speed at the speed limit, so I physically couldn't go over it. And he just kept saying, you were speeding, and trying to make me admit to it, because if you admit to it, then they can charge you. Mm-hmm. But he had no evidence, and he argued with me for 20 minutes, saying that I was trying to undermine him, saying that I was taking the piss out of him, and then flip to the next time I got pulled over, the first time I ever get pulled over by a black guy, and it was recently during all this movement as well, and I actually made the mistake. I accelerated really quickly. He pulled me over, and he goes, what were you doing? I said, accelerating. He didn't assume I was stealing a car. He didn't assume I was up to no good. He treated me with respect. And then in the end, it was just like, off you go, have a nice evening. It was just mutual respect, which is exactly how it should be. And it really, really hit me because I actually, for the first time, was treated like a human being by the police. But he was black.
I'm with you.
A white guy.
Yeah, you know what? But I'm glad you treated him with respect also, because one thing I hate more than anything is when it is a black cop. Some people assume, oh, he's black, I'm black, I can just get through this. Hey, what's up, brother? I mean, you got to treat them with respect. And if you do that, and I think they go, okay, he's treating me with respect. Okay, now we're dealing with and level. We're right here, and people don't understand that though. And when it comes to policing. And I believe, honestly, more. I think African Americans should police African American communities. I mean, I don't know how it is over in England. I don't know how it is over there. Do they have cops go into like predominantly black neighborhoods or immigrant neighborhoods? I don't know how they do it over there.
I don't know if they separate and they send like the ethnic groups into the ethnic groups.
Yeah, but, see, I don't know either. And that's why I was asking. I mean, I'm just saying. I'll admit to my ignorance. And I don't know that. That's why I'm asking. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it plays a major difference. Also, I think if you had more, at least over here in the United States, because you've lived here before, so you've probably seen some stuff. I really think if you had more African American cops in African American communities, policing those communities, I guarantee the shootings would go down. And I don't know about the crime, but the shooting would go down because we know us. I mean, you know your people. Like, hey, listen, man, and you know,
yeah, there's more of a mutual understanding.
Yeah, okay, this guy's crazy. You know, hey, Ronald, but put your pants on, boy. If I take it down to the jail, you know what I mean? Where no offense, but I think a white cop would be more apt to shoot. You know, and I've seen that through interviews where like the black cops in New York City. I think New York City only has like 173 black cops. I think it was, and they were like saying we want a community. Yeah, it was something like that. I can't go with facts, but something like that. It was low, very low, substantially low, and they had an African American cop, and they had to blacken his face out, darken his face, and his voice, and he was like, where they send the white guys in, he goes, they're trigger happy. And so they get in and they always use the same line, I felt threatened. The guy, he was reaching for something. And you see it in the videos when they're trying to, hey, quit resisting when they're not resisting. I think that's the new code word for we can shoot him because he was resisting or whatever. So I think more African Americans should police African American communities. And that's just the way I feel about it.
But then also the whole resisting thing, they can put resisting on anything.
Yes.
I mean, I've had to stand up for myself against the police, not in an aggressive way, but just to say, look, I'm not doing anything wrong. Why are you being aggressive towards me? I mean, that could technically be put down to resistance.
Does it scare you? Okay, do the cops because you've been, you lived here in the United States and you live in England. Like, do the cops frighten you in England with the way they would here? Because I think if you said that here, man, I still have in the back of my mind, like, he might shoot me. You know what I mean? That's just the truth.
I mean, the English cops don't have guns.
Okay. Well, so you can just take an ass whooping, right? I mean, that's all. They might pull out their billy club, but I can go billy club with fist. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, oh, that all you got? Yeah. You ain't got no gun? Oh, we about to knuck up. So, okay. So, are you more apt to speak up to an English cop? Maybe not bow up on him, but kind of.
Yeah, I speak. I make my point. I speak up.
Okay.
And one of the crazy things is I don't speak like the stereotypical black person that they think that they're pulling over.
Right.
So they come at me with this kind of aggressive demeanor and ready to put some force on me, and then I start speaking like a civilized human being, and their tune completely changes over the conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I was going to say that because I've been through that before. I grew up in a time where, like, I've always kind of talked like this. So growing up where I grew up, they go, oh, man, you talk like a white boy. And so I got that my whole entire life. I'm glad you said that.
Even my name's got me stopped because I don't know if they've got it in the US, but when they follow a car, they can pull up all of the registration details.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it comes up with your name and everything on the screen and insurance. So they know exactly who you are. But my name doesn't suit my face, meaning like I have a white name.
Right. Because your parents wanted you to get a job. That's why. They go, we want this guy to get a job. Francis. Your name be Francis. I mean, when you get out of school, they can call you Frankie B if you want to be a rapper or whatever. But here, it's Francis.
But I think that's half the reason why they think I've stolen my car, because they can't believe that I have that name.
Hey, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, honestly, I want to say I can understand it. I think I sometimes give the cops too much leeway in a way because, but yeah, I get it. I mean, I really do. I get it. So you have to be like calm, but it's so hard. People don't know how hard it is. You're going through
it's really hard.
Your whole life. Your whole life is like that. Your entire life. And talking to somebody who doesn't understand, and they go, well, all you got to do is, you go, man, why don't you just shut up? You don't understand what we go through sometimes. You know what I mean? So I understand where you're coming from, but now here's where I'm playing devil's advocate. Now, I've been to the MotoGP paddock, and like I said, you're the only African American there, or the only black guy there. So, and I've been there. So, saying that and what Dorna should do is step up. That's, to me, it's commendable, but at the same time, have you seen blacks try to get into MotoGP and they've been denied, or have you seen discrimination there? Because, I mean, I've read your thing, and like you said, you haven't experienced any racism there, and I haven't experienced any bad moments at all in GP as far as people treat me. You know what I mean? I mean, to me, it's a great, friendly place, and I love it. So,
Yeah,
like when
it's
you,
actually really diverse.
it's really diverse, and I love the paddock, and I love but like I said, I've never experienced racism there or any kind of anything at all there. So when you speak up against GP, like they could do more. Like what can Dorna do more? I mean, because we all know racing is expensive, and we all know that it's hard to get into, especially the GP. Like GP and Formula One are the creme de la crop, so it's hard to get in there no matter what your race is. So what can they do to be more accommodating to African Americans? And because we've seen women there, we've seen Maria Herrera, we've seen Anna Carrasco, but there's also another Beatrice, whatever I forget her name, she's a Spanish rider.
Beatrice Naylor.
Yeah, she's a great rider, but I don't know if she'll make it to that level. So what can Dorna do to be more accommodating to African Americans or to blacks and make it more accepting? Because I mean, for me personally, I go there and I don't experience anything. It's almost like I'm colorblind a little bit because I've never had anybody say a cross word. They've been nothing but nice handshakes and just talk, and everybody's been great. So yeah, and if you're from your point of view, what can they be? Because you're in it.
I mean, I think one of the biggest problems is it's really difficult to fix is there is no black role model. Like in Formula One, you have Lewis Hamilton,
Yes,
which has increased the viewership from African Americans or black people massively. I mean, I didn't really watch Formula One until 2007. Lewis shows up on the scene, and I watch every single race.
Yes, yeah, it's like that.
So until there is that, it's going to be difficult to get people involved at the beginning because you can't really relate to it as much.
That's true. No, that's 100% true.
saying?
Yeah, I mean, just it's motorsports in general. I mean, that's why I feel like I'm the only one here. I feel like the last dinosaur, man. I'm sitting here, I loved motorsports growing up. That was my whole thing growing up. And it's funny, even to this day, this one guy says because he'll watch basketball, which I like too. But if I got a chance between MotoGP and Formula One and World Superbike, hey, man, my day is pretty much set. You know what I mean? I'm watching all three. Yeah. And that's the truth, man. And I could give less than a damn about stick and ball sports. And sometimes, stereotypically, African Americans don't really get into it. So it's like you're pretty much it. You're pretty much it. And if I can be, or you can be a role model, which hopefully that's what I hope this does. I hope somebody sees this and sees what you're doing and sees you and go, okay. You know what I mean? Like it's okay to make a stand in a predominantly white environment and show like, hey, this is wrong. What's going on? I mean, that's what my goal for this is. I want people to see this and see who you are as a person, how great you are as a person, and to say, look, man,
Thanks, man.
And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. That's what I wanted to do. Because I mean, you're a dude, like just the salt of the earth, man. You're a great everything around the board. So when I saw you do that, I knew this affected you like it affected me. And you're a little younger than me, and so it's like, and this is where I feel like I'm being like an old curmudgeon. But I'm thinking, okay, man, listen, this dude can actually change some shit. You know what I mean? And I feel that from you. And like I want to.
Well,
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say I hope so, because that's the aim, to change things, open the doors. I think another thing is a lot of people forget the other roles that go on behind the scenes. I mean, before I showed up in motorsport, I had no idea about the diversity in terms of jobs here. I mean, there's helmet suppliers, suit suppliers. There's lots of places in media. It's not just mechanics and riders and engineers.
I think that'd be a great. You could be a spokesman for that. I mean, I don't know if you could start your own group up. I don't know. See, you can't really say blacks in motorsports, whatever. BIM, blacks in motorsport. I don't know. Maybe you could in a way, and you could find out who manages Lewis. Say, hey, man, what can I do? I mean, try to get to him. Say, send a note to the guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, and it gets to Lewis and say, listen, here's what I want to do with MotoGP, because he loves motorcycles too. He loves, you saw what he did with. I mean, so we did with Rossi last year.
GP bike.
Yeah, at Valencia last year. So like what would you like to if you could have a role for for blacks to look up to say, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. What would you want that role to be?
Ooh, that's a difficult one. I think engineering is a great one because it requires education. It pushes your mind, and having engineers in this sport will just push the sport further to get faster and faster and better. But also on the like talking to Lewis's manager and stuff and setting up this organization,
No, he's stuck.
I oh,
No, you're good now. You're good.
still hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Okay, sorry. I'm in touch with a organization called Driven by Diversity, which are trying to help push diversity in motorsport specifically.
Okay.
So there is help out there,
Okay.
and they're trying to set up initiatives and push diversity in motorsport in terms of helping people either drive, find jobs, everything.
Oh, that's awesome. And now, do you like tag it on your Instagram or do you anything like that? So people who do follow you, maybe they are, black or a woman, and they go, you know what? Okay, diversity in motorsports. Because maybe if you hashtag it, they could find, and then you get a nice little ball rolling. And like I said, then maybe we see more diversity in the sport. And would you be comfortable being? Would you be comfortable being a leader in that though?
I think so.
You think? Well, you know what? Honestly, if you can kneel in that, if you can kneel and do that, you could definitely be a leader in that. I really believe that. Like I said, man, that hit me like a ton of bricks, man, and I was like I felt a euphoric feeling, and I was like, yes, and like I said, man, it was you, and I know you, and I was like, man, if this affects this guy, because I mean. Like from the outside looking in, if you don't know any better, I think, oh, this guy's got it made. He didn't experience anything because, I mean, like I said, you're lighter skinned, and everybody knows if you're lighter skinned, it's a little bit more of a pass than if you're darker skinned. You know what I mean? And you, like I said, you speak.
Even that's not right. It's like the acceptable level of blackness.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm darker, so they, look at me a little more different than they look at you. Plus, I'm also older, too, so. But still, I mean, outside looking in, stereotypical, yeah, they think you've got it made, and it's but you go through the same stuff we do. But the fact that you did that and took that knee, man, that just it filled me with such pride. It really did. So I know you could do that, be a leader in the drive by diversity, and you should. And I honestly, I think you should meet Lewis and say, listen, here's what I want to do, and I think you should do that. Like I said, I don't know how to get through to his people, but, man, you could send an email or something and say, Lewis, help.
Yeah, the more we push the conversation and start working on it all together, the better it will be.
As any riders or anybody came up to you afterwards and said, hey, man, good job or whatever? I mean, like on the...
Yeah, loads of people in the paddock have come up to me and said, you did the right thing.
Really?
You started it. Hopefully we'll move somewhere with it.
That's beautiful, man. Like any big names, like did Rossi or Marquez or anybody, or
I don't know.
I just wanted to know. You never know. I'm more like, you know what? Okay, how about this? And I thought it was a joke, but I also thought maybe. I thought Frankie Morbidelli, because Frankie, before I met you, Frankie was about as close to black as you came in the paddock. You know what I mean? Because he's half Brazilian, half Italian. He's got that. He's got that fro, and he's got the pick in the fro. I go, Frankie, you and Frankie together could probably change some shit. I mean, he's a successful rider.
He's actually spoken out about it to a media company in Italy, actually.
Really?
Yeah. They interviewed him and asked him some questions about the whole situation.
Oh, that's great, man. Because honestly, I love Frankie is a man of few words. And if you watch those interviews, I interviewed him once, I think, at Coda. After he won the Moto2 race, I go, Frankie, man, how's it feel to win that race? And now you're, leading the championship. I go, yeah, feels good. And that's it. And you go, okay, Frankie. And he's a man of few words. But I love Frankie.
He's so modest.
He's the great. And I want to get him on here. You know what I mean? I want to interview him. And I think he would, only because whenever I'm in the paddock, he always says hi to me. And I think it's okay, he's close to being black like me, so I'll wave to him or whatever, but he always talks to me. So I think I can get Frankie on here. I would love to ask Frankie about that. I think him, you, and if you get to Lewis, then you can start making some headways.
Fingers crossed.
I'm
Fingers crossed.
yeah, I mean that because they're going to listen to those guys more because they're actually they're racers.
Yeah.
But you also, and you're in it, man. I mean, you could make some damn change, and it'd be great to see. Now, I'm asking you a hypothetical question: would you be as apt to take a knee, like say next year when you go to Coda? Would you be as apt to take a knee there, or would you be afraid to, or would you do it with no reservation?
No reservation. Any country, regardless. I've done it at every single race so far, and I'm not gonna stop.
Oh, good for you, man. I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. You make me proud, brother. I mean that. You
Thanks,
make me
man.
proud, man, because it's like it's easy to talk about, but to do and to do in the face of everybody watching, you know what I mean? And it's like, wow. I mean, I'm blown away by it, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, man. I'm so blown away by it. I didn't know what to ask. How do I ask you on this? And the part that got me was like I was thinking, and that's the part I thought if I was in Texas at Coda, and I saw you, and you looked at me like, "Are you gonna do it?" And I was like, "Man," and that's when I caught myself like, God, then why wouldn't I? And that got me. You know what I mean? And that's what made me go, I need to do something with my life, make a change. Like, telling jokes and everything else, yeah, it's okay. But to make a change and to stand up for something or to just to kneel for something, that's doing something. So and that's what you're doing, man. You don't talk about it, you're being about it. And I just think that is great, Francis. I really do. I think
Thank you, man.
I applaud what you're doing.
I'm trying. I'm trying to make some change.
No, man. I mean, seriously, you're
I'm
trying.
having a lot of conversations in the background and meetings and trying to push stuff. I actually had a meeting with Carmelo Espeleta in Brunei.
Really? How'd it go?
Yep, it was good. He gave me some insight onto where he thinks and what they might do in the future, what they might not do.
That's great. If anybody doesn't know who Carmelo Espeleta is, he's the head of Dorna, and he's the man basically. So having a meeting with him is great. So try to get me a job in there too if you get a chance. Next time you have a meeting, say I got this great guy, and he's black, and honestly, he would be great for us. It'd be Frankie, Lewis, Francis, and BT, and I think those four could be the four horsemen.
100%, man.
The four horsemen of motorsports. We really could. I think Lewis probably gets sick of me, but we would have a great little quad. I think we would.
Get you on the TV.
Yeah, get me on the telly. Get me on the telly.
Yes.
So yeah. So before we get out of here, man, real quick, like, what did you think of the crash last week? First of all, the Moto 2 crash. The Moto 2 crash first, because that was scary.
Absolutely unbelievable. Everybody is so lucky. Cyrene, Morbidelli, Rossi, Zarco, Vinales. Just the shock across the entire paddock was insane. But I mean, justified. That was one of the biggest moments that there's been in decades, maybe.
Just first of all, when the Moto 2 happened, when you saw when Bastianini, when he came off the high side, he knew to get out. But man, the way that I go, oh no, because I saw the bike spinning, and when somebody's slipstreaming, I saw that happen. I go, no, and that was the worst feeling because you knew what was going to happen. Yeah, man. And who no one talks about who got lucky in that was Dominique Gerter. Dominique, he dodged a bullet on that. He dodged a big bullet on that. And Dominique has been around. Remember his teammate in Moto 2 was Tamazawa. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So he's been around that before, man. So I was like, oh, I felt so bad for him. And then in GP, I've never seen a crash where basically nobody was hurt, but it just affected everybody to the point it's still there. Like I did a tweet yesterday. I go, I had that feeling it's still there, man.
The reality is we could have lost more than one rider in that crash.
Yeah. I mean, you actually... If you really think, you could have lost 4 because the way Morbidelli went down and Zarco also, but then that speed, if it wasn't for that, the fence catching that bike, man, it could have been Vinales dodged a bullet, and then Rossi dodged. And honestly, man, the look on his face when they got back to the paddock, man, that said it all. He just looked like he saw a ghost, and I think he did. And somebody sent me this last night. They said 46 plus 12 is 58. And that's Simucelli's number. And, I put that number, and I got that picture on my Instagram of Simucelli looking down at Rossi, and Rossi looking up at him. and he's basically, protecting him from heaven from that wreck. And man, that just got me. It was this morning. I looked at my phone and I saw that. I go, fuck. I mean, it's like that was the hand of God, man, because he was done. I mean, that bike, and I'm talking milliliters. And I got my producer. He's 19, and I'm trying to get him to love MotoGP, and he doesn't understand these bikes. This bike is going at least 200 miles an hour without somebody else. They crashed earlier, and they're coming around the corner, and this bike is flipping, and it misses him by about this much, literally. Yeah,
literally like a hair.
Yeah, it literally by a hair. So man, whoo. Now, what's the mood in the paddock now? What's the mood in the paddock this week right now?
Kind of bit of apprehension for the next race.
Really?
Personally, I am, because this circuit always throws up really tight racing.
Yeah.
Because it's just really, really harsh acceleration zones, really high speeds down the straights, and then really harsh braking zones into very slow corners. So everybody's on the limit constantly.
So hopefully you're going.
Doesn't flow as much as other places.
So fingers crossed, and hopefully everybody gets through safe. Basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hope so too.
But the circuit's a safe place.
Yeah. Okay. How about Mazzano? You looking forward to Mazzano?
Yes. Back to the seaside.
Back to Italy. Now, why'd you move from Italy back to England? Why'd you move?
Lockdown got kind of old really fast there, and I missed my family and friends, so moved back. Pushed myself to build up my career there as well. Okay, so what's the overall goal career-wise? What do you want to do career-wise? Like in next 5 years, where do you want to be, Francis? Where does Francis Bradfield want to be in 5 years? I'm trying to move across into communications. So I haven't got a end goal. I just want to push myself, get into communications, and then build myself from there.
Do you want to stay in motorsports when you do that?
Yeah. 100% in motorsports. I'll never leave motorsport.
You got the love of motorsports. Good. Okay.
Yeah, man.
5 years. Okay. In 10, what's your 10-year plan? In 10 years, you'll be what, 30?
No, I'll be 38.
Oh, look at you. Man, I hate you. Okay. In 10 years, you'll be 30. I hate you young, good-looking guys. Okay. So, you ever thought about being a supermodel? I mean, you're a nice-looking guy. You about being a supermodel? Maybe get some extra dough in the cash on the side?
Not fit enough for that. Not tall enough either.
So in 10 years, what do you want to be in 10 years?
I also haven't thought about that, honestly. I'm just kind of thinking about the now and the kind of short-term goals at the moment. I'm in a changeable situation since I've just moved back.
Okay.
At the moment, I'm helping build an esports agency. I'm on the social media side of it they're actually trying to push women into esports because they're underrepresented. They're called Inner Esports.
Oh my! So it's called Inner Esports.
Innit
Esports.
Yeah.
And what is it? And what do they do? What do they do exactly?
They're an agency, so they're trying to put on help connect sponsors and different companies together to help push the esports industry.
Nice. So you got a little something going on. Good for you, man. Good for you.
Thanks, dude.
No, you have a great head on your shoulders. I know you're going places. Be big time, man. You are. You're big time. And make it even better is you're standing up for something, and that makes it even more better. You know what I mean? And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It makes it even more better because you're not just, like I said, it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, but you don't only talk about it, you're being about it, and you're just a good guy all around. And like I said, I want somebody to watch this interview, and I want to inspire somebody to do what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, have you inspired me to go, you know what? And when time comes, I got a chance to kneel, damn it, I'm going to do it. And the hell with the consequences.
Count on you in Texas instead.
Count on me in Texas, brother. I mean, I'm not going to talk this shit. I'm going to back this shit up is what I'm going to do. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because honestly, man, I kind of, it's almost like we accept the little bitty jabs or whatever that, they say about certain things and whatever. And it's like, no, no, this is the evil and something needs to stand up to this. Because, I mean, if not, it's just going to keep going on.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time. We've been getting murdered in the streets for years. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, from the inception. I mean, you see why. But even before Rodney King, there was the LA cops were always mean to with the Watts riots and the riots in the United States. What happened? It all stems from it's a systematic racism and it's the system and it's dirty cop. And there's I got to kiss ass and there's good cops, but at the same time, we got to change the system, and the change begins with one person, then two, then three, and hopefully it reaches where it needs to reach. So
exactly.
So man, God, I cannot. Whoa, what was that? I think it was Jimi Hendrix. I think Jimi Hendrix was trying to tune his guitar. All right, we got it. Okay, yeah. So man, I just want to again, thank you so much, Francis, for this. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Hopefully, I might get a chance to make it to Portugal at the end of the year. We'll see, man.
Oh yes.
I would love to. I mean, fingers crossed. When Portugal, if we go
It's
to
a sick circuit, awesome place too.
if we go to Portugal, me and you, bro, I'm gonna make you buy dinner, and on the company dime, and I better get a KYT helmet in the mail in the next week. So that's that's what I'll be looking forward to. Francis, thank you so much. If you guys want to read, it's a Drive by Diversity. Does that have a website or anything?
Driven by Diversity.
Driven by Diversity. Is it a .com?
It's a .com.
Yeah, driven.
All the social platforms too.
Gotcha. Drivenbydiversity.com. Go to Twitter, Instagram, and they're on it. Francis, thank you so much, buddy. Good luck. Stay safe, and we will talk later.
Yes, man.
And
Thanks for having me on, dude.
Anytime. And like I always say about this time, peace.